All right, October was Filipino-American History Month, in case you didn't know. And to close off the month-long celebration, RT's Roselle Reyes takes us through the history of Filipino-American relationships.
Filipinos, they're go-getters. Throughout history, Pinays or Filipino women have been the heart of the Filipino-American community. That's why this year, we pay tribute to the Pinay visionaries. But how did it all start? With a love of nursing and a dream for a better life. After losing the Philippine-American War in 1902, the Philippines fell under U.S. control with American colonization spanning almost 50 years. During that time, the U.S. implemented American nursing programs in the Philippines, which prepared Filipinos to work in the U.S. 2 years after the Philippines gained independence from the U.S., the Exchange Visitor Program was introduced in 1948, which allowed foreign nurses to come to the U.S. for education and work experience. After World War II, there was a large demand for nurses, so who did the U.S. turn to? The Philippines. Many Filipino nurses already training under American-style nursing jumped on the opportunity and decided to call the U.S. their new home. After the 1965 Immigration Act, an influx of Filipinos immigrated to the country. In the 90s, the Filipino population in the U.S. more than doubled, with most of the migrants being women. Between 1980 and 2016, the Filipino immigrant population quadrupled. Today, there are about 4 million Filipinos in the U.S., making up the third largest Asian American group. Most of the Filipinos live in California, where nearly 18% of nurses in the state are, you guessed it, Filipinos. We can't forget about the Filipinos who chase after the American dream, migrating to Hawaii and the West Coast to work in farms. These workers eventually started the United Farm Workers Movement and established Little Manilas throughout the region. And the Filipinos recruited by the U.S. military and served during World War II, who were then granted U.S. citizenship for their alliance and moved their families to the country. So throughout history, Filipinos have overcome hardships, from racial and gender discrimination, poor working conditions, and sacrifice. But Filipinos, they persevere, they're go-getters, and they continue to shape America today.